rất là hân hạnh để đón tiếp Ryan với Lan tới Doslink. Ryan với Lan có thể nói một ít về Latitude, về cái kinh nghiệm và những cái kết quả mà mình đạt được cho khách hàng của mình không?
Sure. Thank you for the question, and it's lovely to be here. And I have to start off by saying, what a privilege to be working with Doslink as well. So Latitude is an international firm. Okay, we specialize in residency and citizenship only. That's all that we do, and that's what we have been doing. I've been in this industry for 10 years. And I was one of the people that believed in Vietnam a long time ago. So I came here in 2018.
Yes.
And when I came here the first time, the reaction that I got was, why are you here to promote Europe when all the Vietnamese want to go to North America? We want to go to Canada. We want to go to America. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong, go back. But later on, actually, we got rewarded for believing in the Vietnamese families, because nowadays we joke, but it's the truth. We say, not only have we convinced the Vietnamese to look at Europe, because it's a different proposition than the US and Canada. It doesn't make it better, it's different. I believe it's the right thing for the Vietnamese. But now we joke that not only Vietnamese are coming to Europe, even the Americans are coming to Europe. Why? So before we talk about Malta, before we talk about Spain, we should really explain clearly the difference between Canada, which I see a lot in your office, so you must be doing it, and America, and Europe. And the one big difference is that when you talk about I call them the North American, solutions, Canada, North America, besides that you're waiting typically for a long number of years, is once you have completed the process, you typically pack your luggage and you move. You have to move to the country. Whereas in Europe, you do not have to move. So when it comes to the flexibility, it's what the Vietnamese really want. They are successful here in Vietnam. They have a good business. They don't necessarily want to move completely. What they want is the access to Europe. What they want is no longer to queue in an embassy to get a visa. To have that card when they have peace of mind that whenever they want to travel, they don't have to plan 4 months before to get a visa, and then it's rejected, and then all the plans are ruined. So what they want, we feel, and we've seen, is they want access to European countries that gives them better opportunities to education for the children, that gives them peace of mind that it's a safe country, that they can travel to any European Schengen country, but the country is not imposing on them, you must live in the country. No, you can continue with your lives in Vietnam. And this we've seen from year to year gaining a lot more popularity. Why? It has been there for much longer than 6 years. Why it is gaining popularity? It's gaining popularity because finally, through the good work such as what we're doing with Doslink, is the prospect clients out there are finding out more about the unique benefits and the features of this solution. And when they compare, they say, okay, yes, everyone knows about Canada, everyone knows about US. I never heard about Malta. Where is Malta, right? But they heard about Spain, right?
Yes.
And they've heard about Portugal, and they've heard about Greece. They all give you the same access. So you can never say, Greece is better than Portugal, or Portugal is better than Spain, or Malta is, they all give you the same access. In Europe, the same.
You mean when you access to one country in Schengen?
Exactly. When you get residency in a European country, it's the same. No, not one country can tell you, I come from Malta. I cannot say, Malta gives you better access than Spain does. No, they give you the same access when it comes to the residency. What they give you slight differences in access when you talk about the citizenship, which we can also talk about. So in general, to finish off with my introduction and to your audience as well, is we have now seen a huge number of families finding out about this solution and going ahead with it and obtaining residency by investment in a European country. Today we're here to talk about more in particular about Malta and Spain. Why those two in particular is because I feel, we do them all, but I feel that the opportunity right now is Malta and Spain. We've seen with Portugal, unfortunately, these programs, they're there, but then they go through changes. Portugal is no longer able to do the real estate investment. It still has an attractive fund option, but not everyone is sophisticated to understand that. So a lot of the Vietnamese I see, they understand real estate. And that's where Spain comes in very, very favorably, right? Malta, we'll talk about it as well. What's very attractive about Malta is now nearly everyone knows about it here in Vietnam. It's the lowest capital required to obtain the residency, and you are obtaining permanent residency straight away. And what that means, the difference between permanent and temporary residence, is that permanent, you get it once, and it's indefinite. You don't have to renew the permit, right? What you have to renew is the card, because the biometrics expire. So this is why I'm very, very excited to be here, to talk and help more families come to Europe. When I came here first, we were saying 6 months. And then when I came here again, 2019, we were saying maybe 6, maybe 7. Now the reality is a little bit more than 9 months it will take. Why?
9 months.
But that's good. I'll tell you why it's good. First and foremost, you are talking to Vietnamese families that they are familiar with Canada and US. You have to wait years. So months is okay.
2 years, 3 years at least.
Exactly. So 9 months is okay.
Yes.
The second thing is 9 months, when it started it was around 6, now it became 9 or a little bit more. It means that it's a popular and successful program. So more applicants are applying. So when I talk to my clients, I never talk in a negative way that it takes 9 months. I say, well, it's taking that long because a lot of families and a lot of applicants are going for it because it's very, very attractive. Okay. When you talk about Spain, it's a little bit less. It's around 6 months.
Spain,
6 to 7 months you'll be able to complete the process. But for Malta, because you asked me for Malta, it will take that long as well. Also, what you have to keep in mind is how long it will take to complete the application before we can check it, make sure it's okay, and then we go and submit it. So 9 months is from the time that we go, everything is okay, and we submit it to the unit. Okay, so as licensed firm, we're able to submit it to the unit.
Agree.
Okay. No, that's what I was saying earlier. That's the beauty of it, that they have total flexibility in terms of, and I'll give you an example. We've had clients that applied before the COVID,
Yes.
and they had the application going. They didn't finish, and then they completed after the COVID. Between that time and the completion, they could not come to Malta. They were not in Malta, and it was absolutely fine. So you don't have to spend any time to maintain the card. So one of the features of this solution is that it does not have a requirement to spend time. You are welcome to spend time. No requirement. Just like no language requirement either. So there's no language requirement, there's no time requirement. The requirement is that you have a clear criminal background, you're healthy, you have the financial means, and you are able to prove it, and you go through the process and the rigorous check that we would do. If that's completed, you pretty much have 4 requirements, and only 4 requirements. And the beauty, especially about Malta, is when you compare it to other programs, there is no changes. You see other programs constantly, every month, something changes. There's no change in Malta. From when it started until now, it's the same. 4 requirements only. And the good thing is that the requirements, which I call the commitment of the investor, right, comes after, not before, after they have the confirmation that they are approved. So the customers here, they love it. They love it because they say, okay, all I need to do is pay your fees for the support, of course. Without your support, it cannot happen, right? We are supporting you. We complete the application. Once it is ready, we call it correct and complete. Unless it is correct and complete, we're not going to submit it. And we have clients that say, come on, please submit it. I've been giving you a lot of information. No, it's important that it's correct and complete because that's how we will ensure it will take 9 months and not 2 years. That's the difference when we work with us. So I think the fair way how to compare is I will not tell you that one program is the best program because for every client, it depends, right? At the end of the day, it's what the client will believe is the best for him. So what we can do is identify the unique features of the program, and then the client will decide. For example, one client will say, okay, I understand, this solution, but for me, the client, the most important thing is that I want to choose the program that will cost me the least amount of money. Then if they want the program with the least amount of investment required to get the PR, then Malta is the absolute lowest amount to get PR. No other country can give you PR, permanent residency, for a lesser amount. Yes. Okay? The requirement. So for Malta, if you basically you have 100,000 euros that you need to commit to the program. 10,000 comes at the time that you submit the application. The other 90,000 is after you have the stamp. So you have peace of mind. On top of that, there are 2 other things that they need to take care of. Is whatever you are deciding to charge the clients for the whole journey, and that's important. I urge clients not to pick the local provider that gives them the absolute lowest price, but to really pick the ones that can and will help them all throughout the journey. And the second thing that they need to take care of is the property. They have the option to buy property, and they also have the option to rent property. Most of the applicants that want to keep it low in the beginning, especially, they choose to rent property. Yes. And that's one other feature to answer your question, is the flexibility. So Malta gives you the flexibility of you don't have to, unlike the other programs, most of them, you have to choose before. First you commit to buy the asset and then you start the process. Malta works exactly the opposite. And actually we're quite proud that it does work like that, and we were heavily involved in recommending to the unit.
The investor can choose later after the applicant is approved.
Correct. Correct.
Rent option or buy option.
Correct. So during the application, you will state what you choose, but you don't have to commit to it. You don't have to go and rent a property, or you don't have to go and buy a property before you have been approved, because maybe you're not approved. If you don't declare, the proper information, if you don't pass what we call the proper fit and test process that we do, the due diligence, then you won't be eligible to obtain residency. Yeah. So when you compare, if you decide to rent the property and choose the lowest amount to satisfy, that will be 10,000 in rent per year. And you have to maintain that for 5 years. That minimum cap of 10,000 has to be maintained for 5 years. After the 5 years, there's no minimum cap to maintain. Okay? If you decide to buy the property, then the minimum amount will be 300,000. Okay? So what you need to keep in mind is this. If you say, okay, give me the absolute total amount. I want to know total. If you're looking to rent, you're looking at around 180,000. That covers everything. Absolutely everything. Your fees, the contribution, the charity, the four requirement, which is contribution, charity, property, and the insurance. All of those is around 180 if you rent. If you decide to buy, you remove the 50,000 of rent, 10,000 for 5 years, and you replace it with the property purchase of a minimum 300.
Yes.
Okay? So then when you purchase, you're looking at around 400. Okay?
Yes. Very affordable.
Very, very affordable for what you're getting.
Yes.
So going back to your question when you say compare them, as I said, I will compare them, but I will not tell you which the best one is, because the best one is the one that the client decides is the best for him. So we talked about what's the lowest. The next thing that clients like to compare is they say, okay, I will do this residency. I understand it. I see the benefit. It's going to give my kids the opportunity of, attending school in Europe. It's a safe, safe countries. So when the client says, I want it to be in real estate, then Spain provides an excellent opportunity. And then working with us provides you an even more opportunity, because we've spent so much of our time putting together the right proposition for Spain. So we actually, the best way how to explain it is partner up with the client to invest in Spain in return for getting the golden visa. Yeah, so we become their partners in terms of, we focus a lot on the commercial real estate. They can do it via the residential, but the return is not so interesting.
Yeah.
And we have basically put this together for the client. Here, they want an investment that gives them a good return, but they also want the golden visa. Basically, they want it all. Right? So we had to really come up with the right support framework, with the right investment, with the right financing, to enable the investor who's choosing Spain to have the golden visa, to have a bank account in Europe, to have the access that they want, to have an asset that is generating an income for them, also benefiting from the fact that at the end, once they want to sell their asset, they also have complete peace of mind with a buyback guarantee.
Guarantee. Yes.
So it's like, when you work it out, it's cheaper than getting Schengen visa every year, because everything is actually recovered back. There's no pretty much sunken cost. Yes. So basically, you're talking about leasehold or freehold. Yes. Now, the properties that we're choosing are freehold. They will have the title deed. They will own the asset. But what you would keep in mind as well is that the client will have the option of the buyback guarantee.
From Latitude.
It won't be from Latitude. It will be from the partner that we work with in Spain. Yes. And now with the recent project that we're launching, that will also come, it's going to be a hotel. So it's still on the commercial side, but instead of investing in a commercial shop and find a local tenant to take up tenancy and pay rent, we're actually, together with our partners, doing a hotel whereby the investor has the option of investing in a, let's call it an apartment studio, apart hotel kind of, right? Whereby they have a room together with a parking space that they will fully own with a title deed. Okay?
A hotel or
they will own a room within the hotel.
Yes.
Okay?
So the ownership is the
the
contract, right?
The ownership, no, they will have a title deed as well. They will have a title deed on
that room.
On that room and on the car space as well.
Oh.
What's happening to the investor is, from the 500,000 that they need to invest, the hotel operations is guaranteeing 3% return per annum. So that's 15,000 per year. But together with our partnership, what we're doing is we are advancing that 15,000 for 10 years. I'll explain why 10 years. So 150,000 is given to the investor on day one. So they don't have to wait 10 years.
Okay.
They will get it. Why? So basically it's 500,000, but they will make the 150 in return. So if you had to work it out between how much they put in, okay, how much they're getting back, okay, and deducting as well the tax they need to pay, the stamp duty and notary, you're looking at around the investment needs to be at around 398, 400 that they need to put in. In total, correct, in total. But then the buyback guarantee is for 500.
At the years
At the year 10,
at the 10th, at the years 10.
they get the buyback guarantee. And if they decide, because in Spain, you need to hold the asset to be able to enjoy the golden visa. No, before we get to that. So for you to hold the golden visa, you need to hold the asset. If you let go of the asset, you lose the golden visa, right? So what we do on the 10th year, and why 10 years? Because 10 years, like you said, you can work your way to citizenship. So you qualify to apply together with a language test, a culture test, and you spend a significant amount of time in Spain. If the applicant says, I don't want, after 10 years, they can get the buyback guarantee. If they say, I want to hold the asset, what we will do is on the commercial, on the stores, we'll give them the option of holding it and continuing to rent, and they will make the rent. On the hotel, Soho may say, no, we still want to do the buyback, but then we can give the applicant another asset that will still continue to benefit from the golden visa. Correct. So they have to hold the investment, and if Soho will call the buyback guarantee,
And
they will give them the 500, but then we will find them another asset to maintain the golden visa.
Okay,
Understand?
understand.
60%, if not 65%, of the Vietnamese applicants that we've helped, a number of partners for Malta, actually are sending their children to school in Malta. And I'll tell you why. First of all, it's more cost effective than in Vietnam. So in simpler terms, it is less expensive to send your children to school in private school in Malta than it is in Vietnam.
Okay, how much is the school fee for?
It's quite significantly different. It's much cheaper actually compared to international schools here.
It takes around 40,000 US dollars per year to send a child to international school.
Maybe in Malta, top school, 8,000.
A year. Wow. Wow, much cheaper than.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And the second thing is, if you look at Europe, the only officially English-speaking country, apart from UK, Ireland, Wales, and Scotland, is Malta.
Yeah.
So our official languages are Maltese and English. So education is all done in English, apart from the Maltese. In fact, I say my daughter speaks very, very good English, and she's working very hard on her Maltese. Yeah. So our language is Maltese. Maltese, yes.
Is it Malta language?
Malta language, yes.
School.
Yes. But education is all done in English.
Okay.
Even, you look at the legal system, and it's on the British model, because we had the British there for 200 years. The other thing as well is, apart from cost affordability and apart from the English, it's also a very, very high level of education. So much so is that I have the story, I always like to share it. One of the early families we've had that started their application in early 2018, I remember their daughter, she was 13 13, yes, 13.
Yeah, 7 level.
And she came to Malta, not one word in English, not one word. Today, I will show you her WhatsApp messages. And she writes in English, she sends me an audio in English.
Wow.
So the education level is really, really good. The other thing to keep in mind as well is that Malta has always been an education hub. And what I mean by that is especially for English. A lot of students from around the world, from Asia, from Japan, from Europe, from France, they come to Malta to learn English. In fact, we take around 100,000 students per year to learn English. And just to compare to our population of 500,000, you're looking at around 20% to 25% of our population equivalent to the students coming to learn English. Right? In fact, a lot of these students, what they do is they don't stay in hotels. They stay in apartments, 2 or 3 of them join together and rent an apartment. And that's also driving the property market in Malta, especially the buy to let, the rental market in Malta.
Do Malta have?
Our education system, Malta ranks quite high.
Yeah.
Okay. We also have British schools, we have American schools in Malta, we have the state school, we have private schools, we also have church schools.
Just
Yes, as well. So it's good. It's very good.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I would say the education system enable the student to not only have a high level of academic ranking and researching, but also help the student a lot after graduation. Because in Malta, we have only one public university. It's the University of Malta. Beside the American University, beside the London College, etc. But being graduated from the University of Malta, you will have a very strong connection with the alumni.
alumni.
Yes. Imagine your alumni be working in every sector in the country. So you have a very good supporting network.
We have seen a growing number of Vietnamese that go through the program, then they send their children to school, for example, and then they visit one summer, they visit the second summer, and then they say, okay, I want to do something. So we've seen them opening Vietnamese restaurants, Vietnamese coffee shops. What's the place that you went into? You should share.
We have phở, we have bánh mì, everything.
Bún bò.
We do have that in Malta, yes.
What we find is that we get involved helping them secure the rental property that they need. So we have a number of trusted real estate providers, and then we'll basically handhold them to find the property that they need. Then the moment that they move into that property, they can manage the property themselves. If they're not going to be in Malta for a number of years because they don't necessarily need to be in Malta, and we can also manage the properties for them. Then when it comes to other support, we can put them in touch with schools, tell them where the other Vietnamese families are, so they get connected. Len does a lot of that. And at the moment you do that, the Malta is very small, so it's very easy to basically get by, in terms of whatever else that you need. We help clients, buy properties in Malta. Typically what happens is they finish the whole process, 1 year, 2 years, and then later after 3 years they say, okay, now I want to buy property in Malta. So we also support them with that. Difficult to say. All I can say is 2 years ago, right? Or
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Or a year and a half ago, something like that. I got invited by the Vietnamese ambassador in Rome, who oversees the Malta Vietnamese community. And through another Vietnamese applicant who's now doing very well in Malta, they organized a get-together. And I said, oh, maybe there'll be, I don't know, 30 families, maybe. 80 families. 80 families came. It was the most amazing thing I've seen in terms of, you know, a whole community of Vietnamese coming together. Some who were living in Malta, some who were visiting. And the ambassador gave a very nice speech in saying, you know, him being in Rome, the closest kind of embassy, is very proud to see Vietnamese, using the word thriving, in a European country such as Malta. And they just make it so easy for the other Vietnamese that are completing the process and about to start visiting and spending some time in Malta. So yes, in Spain, it's huge. It's a huge, you know, Asian
Yes.
community with the Asian food, and yeah, I mean Barcelona especially, but also Madrid. You know, vibrant cities.